back. This is Boomer Life on CL 650.
Something tells me I'm into something good.
And you're listening to Boomer Life on CL 650. I'm Joanne Sutton, joined in studio today by three of our panel experts from the BC Seniors Living Association. We have Executive Director Marlene Williams. We have Judy Carter, General Manager from Origin at Longwood in Nanaimo on Vancouver Island. And Jan Robson is here, the Provincial Education Coordinator with the Alzheimer's Society of British Columbia. And we're talking about options for seniors living in this province, the value of a good retirement community, and the necessity of addressing real concerns like Alzheimer's disease and other dementias. So the panel here, the good news is that the BC Seniors Living Association and all its member communities, along with health authorities and the provincial government, well, they all seem to have the same desire to improve the quality of life for those faced with the challenges that dementia and Alzheimer's presents. So what is actually coming down the line that will bring both these organizations together to help benefit seniors?
Well, I think the owners and operators that in this province, I think they're rising to the challenge, because not only are they building beautiful, vibrant retirement communities for a senior to move into when they're ready. We want them to choose to move to us, not to come to us because they have to. It's a lifestyle. We want them to choose to come to us. But they're rising to the challenge because there's 4 being built. Probably they'll be open in a couple of years. There's 2 in White Rock, there's 1 on the island, there's 1 in West Vancouver, 1 in Edgemont being built. And they're building, very, very active, vibrant communities, which they're allotting a third of their building to the early stages of dementia, because they know that seniors, it's better for seniors to move into to a community where everybody is active and healthy and happy and active and have good nutrition. And the families will know that to move mom or dad in those communities, they're going to thrive more than, unfortunately, if they go to a long-term care community, because nothing against long-term care communities, but they're very prescriptive, they're very clinical, and they represent sicker seniors that need 24-hour care. And sometimes that's the sort of gray area that's happening right now with dementia, is they're not ready for long-term care, they can't stay independent, and they're in this little gray area. And so I think the association, working with the ministry and working with the Assisted Living Registrar, I think we're trying to, like I say, rise to the challenge to build communities that are going to house the early stages of dementia seniors and keep them healthier and active longer, rather than put them in long-term care. So I know, Judy, Origin didn't open where you had your 3 levels, and over the years you have changed and modified your building as one of our members to accommodate your residents for
That's
this.
exactly right, Marlene. We opened with independent and assisted living, and that was the model. But what we've recognized is that in order to make sure that we don't have to have seniors or have our residents move out of our community, we have to be able to provide them with the accommodation that's necessary when they need it. And so we opened the long-term care, which is our memory care wing.
And Judy's community looks like you walked into a W hotel. It's beautiful.
Oh,
It's beautiful. There's spas to die for.
And really, if anybody's interested, they can come in and have a tour
Absolutely.
of your community, can't they?
Absolutely, yes.
Just
At
phone
any
you
time.
up, book
Just
a date.
give us a call, and we'd be very happy to show you around.
Come for lunch.
Yes.
Oh, I can't
Yes.
wait. Next
Yes.
time I'm in Nanaimo. Well, that's wonderful. So, and the role that the Alzheimer's Society is playing in these workshops is educating staff at retirement communities around the province.
That's right. And the hope, too, is that some of that, I think you mentioned this earlier when we were talking before the show, Judy, about the attitude of the staff then being taken on by the other residents in the community, so that the staff can model good ways to interact with people with dementia, because it can be very frustrating for the other residents who don't have these issues. It can also be, I think, a lot of times very scary, because if you see someone with dementia and you happen to be 85 years old, I think a lot of times there's that fear. There's still, just because you're living in a retirement community doesn't mean you're not part of the general population as far as the stigma and the fear that goes along with this disease. So your staff can play a really key role with that. So we're educating staff, but then that's going to have that carryover effect.
And spill out to the family.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think earlier, Judy, you were commenting when we were talking before the show that initially your staff were afraid of this segment, and through the training and the education that Origin has provided, that they are now embracing it, which I thought was a very interesting comment.
Absolutely. And, you know, we're dealing with a young age group who have probably never been exposed to anyone with dementia. So they are afraid when they come into us. But, you know, after the training, once they get to understand the disease, they embrace it and they become almost protective of the residents.
So I think we've covered a number of key points here. Don't be fearful. Alzheimer's is not something to be fearful of. And Jen, you actually made a comment about how you take your message out to the public and the kind of reception that you get. Like if you're at a show or something.
There's still very much, and again, fear / stigma / something else, I don't know, where people will often see displays if we're out in the public of other agencies.
Or a setup in the mall at the Alzheimer's Society. Come and ask us a question.
And you can see people often just running past with their eyes focused forward. It's almost this sense that if they even stop to check, that there's going to be a problem if they stop to check. So there's still, that stigma is alive and well, sadly. And that's part of the Alzheimer's Society of Canada campaign this year, which is we're still here. So people with dementia are still here. We think so often of Alzheimer's disease of the end stage, but there's a huge long journey for most people before that ever is reached, where there is productive, huge quality of life possible.
I think we're in a very unique position of power as members of the baby boomer group, that not only are we assisting to help look after our aging parents, and I think you made a very good point, Judy, about not waiting too long to have that conversation, and don't bring your parent in, and don't start researching a retirement community when it's too late. Do it before you know, a serious family decision has to be made. But we're all not only looking out for them, I think we're sort of, it's a precursor to where do we want to live in 10 years or 20 years of our life? Is this the type of lifestyle that we're looking for? And we're trying to set a clean path for ourselves. Would you agree?
I would agree.
And I think that this platform and this type of education really helps, because we actually are also educating the next generation to come so that they are familiar with the disease and not as fearful.
Yeah.
Good point. Is there anything else that we should leave our listeners with today?
I guess get information would be my final comment.
Start,
get information.
Start the conversation.
It's a very scary thing, but the more information you have, the more power you have to cope with it in a really positive way.
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge
Thank
is
you,
power.
all three of you, for joining us today. It's been great.
Thanks,
Thank you.
You're listening to Boomer Life on CL 650. Joined in studio today with the Executive Director from the BC Seniors Living Association, Marlene Williams, along with Judy Carter, who is General Manager at Origin at Longwood in Nanaimo. Thanks for making the trek. And Jan Robson here, the Provincial Education Coordinator from the Alzheimer's Society of BC. Thanks for joining the conversation today on the importance of seniors in our province and catering to the needs of those with Alzheimer's and early stages of dementia. If you want more information, visit the website bcsla.ca. And thanks for listening to Boomer Life on CL 650.